Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Schickman, and this video is about whether a nurse can open a medical spa. I'm a managing attorney here at Lingio Law, and we work with nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and doctors from several different states. This video is not going to be about any particular state, but more of an overview of whether a nurse can do this and how to do it. So, the big question is, can a nurse open up her own medical spa? And the answer is yes. It just depends on the state and the structure, but it could certainly be done. And the way to do it is one of two ways. So there are two different types of states in the US. One is a type of state that has a prohibition called the Prohibition on the Corporate Practice of Medicine, and one is a type of state that does not. The majority of states today, and this is in 2023, prohibit the corporate practice of medicine. In those states, nurses can open what's called an MSO, a Management Services Organization. What that is a business entity that provides business services to a medical entity, which in turn can be owned by a physician or in some states, a nurse practitioner. So in the states that prohibit the corporate practice of medicine, a registered nurse can still open this kind of business called an MSO, and then that MSO would enter into a special contract called an MSA, or a Management Services Agreement, with a physician's company or a nurse practitioner's company. And then in the states that don't have this prohibition on the corporate practice of medicine, and those are states like Ohio or Florida, there, a registered nurse can just open a regular company, not an MSO, and you don't need to have this more complicated structure. You may have some other requirements depending on the state, but you don't need to do the MSO. But in most states, what we do for our registered nurse clients is we do this MSO structure, and then we create an MSA arrangement where the nurse is protected as much as possible for any kind of business situation or something that may arise where there's a separation where the nurse and the physician or the nurse and the nurse practitioner have to go their separate ways. So there are several different ways that nurses can enter into this kind of business, but it's definitely possible. You just need to speak to an attorney and they could help you do it. But the short answer is yes, a registered nurse can get into the medical spa business, but the way they would do it is through this structure. The other thing is, to keep in mind is in the states that prohibit the corporate practice of medicine, the final medical decisions have to be made by the chief medical officer, who's going to be this officer of this practice entity, which would mean the physician, or in some states, the nurse practitioner. So a registered nurse cannot make the final medical decision. He or she will still need to go to the physician or NP or PA for the final medical judgment in every patient's case, but still a registered nurse can enter into this business, could be part of this whole aesthetics industry that's growing tremendously, and can really have a different kind of career, not just the more traditional career in a hospital or in primary care. So if you have any other questions about this, reach out to us or another law firm, and we'd be happy to help you.